Yes, hello everybody. So as you could see, fall has definitely arrived here in Sweden. We've had our fire going for all day, for 2 days now straight, because if we don't have it going, it's only 16 to 15 degrees Celsius in the house. Yeah, it becomes cold quite fast. Fall arrives really quickly. It's like one day you're walking around in your t-shirt outside, and within a week suddenly you need a jacket. It isn't gradual. You didn't go, oh, I'll go outside with my jacket, or oh, I'll go outside with just a sweater on like I'm wearing right now. No, you need a jacket. There was no gradual transition there. And I'm kind of used to this. Summer kind of rolls into winter real quick and kind of skips fall. But right now, it really feels like fall outside. I have a thermometer. Let me show you. This guy standing over here in the shadow. It has a button here. When you press it, I have reset it sadly, so I can't show you. But when you press that button, it shows you the highest temperature it has been and the lowest temperature it has been since the last reset. And during this last night, it was only 2 degrees Celsius outside. Yeah, there is... I'm not going to be surprised that within 2 or 3 days we're going to have freezing temperatures during the night. So yeah, bye-bye warm weather. We're going to have to wait a couple of months before we can go sunbathe again. So I fully expect that soon-ish I will have to go and empty out my water supplies, which is fine since we're not using them anyway. It's raining a lot and there's no plants growing. So yeah, soon I'm gonna have to empty out the water tower and the IBC tank. That's the big 1,000-liter tank I have in my garden. Because we don't want the water to freeze inside those containers, because, you know, water expands when it freezes, and if it's expanding in a closed container or in pipes, they're gonna break. So since this year we installed my water tower, I do not want it to break. I want to use it next year again. We are gonna empty out the water. Hopefully, of course, by the time winter leaves us, it is gonna rain a little bit, and then the water tower and the water tank get filled quickly again, before we actually need a lot of water for growing plants. Now, in fall, or autumn, whatever you want to call it, this is the season of picking mushrooms here in Sweden. There's a lot of edible mushrooms. People go into the forests and, for instance, go pick kantareller. Here's a picture of it. Don't do it if you don't know what you're eating. Luckily, kantareller are pretty easy to identify, but ask a local first that knows what they're doing. One very big tip that I see a lot of people making mistakes, even if you find edible mushrooms, never pick them and eat them from the roadside. This has made people very sick in the past, and mushrooms are like sponges. They're like nature's sponges. They suck up what's in the ground, right? And on the roadside, there's oil, there's rubber, there's grease, there's dogs pissing in the side of the ditch, all that kind of stuff. And if you are a mushroom growing there, you'll suck up all these toxins. And even if you are a cantarell, a edible mushroom, and we humans pick that cantarell on the side of the road and eat it, you'll still get sick. So don't do that. If you're looking for edible mushrooms, please go deeper into the forest where you can find more of them, and they're going to be tastier and healthier. Picking those mushrooms is definitely a Swedish pastime. Swedish people love doing it. Lots of German people that come to Sweden love doing it. All people that come to Sweden during the autumn or the fall love to go pick mushrooms. And I know that a couple of my neighbors don't just pick cantareller, they pick all kinds of mushrooms. I'm too scared to do that because the chances of picking something that will make you sick are too high for me. And I'm not really good at identifying them. But for Swedish people, it's definitely a pastime that they do a lot. And look at this! We're done painting the shower room! Ah, it's so awesome. It's so nice and white. Frida has done most of the work. I am very happy she did. And yeah, we're ready to start installing the shower here. Although that might take a little bit of time. First we need to get a shower stall. We need to install the piping to get the water here. We need to have some kind of way to remove the water from here. There's a lot of work still to do, but the room is ready. The room is all painted nice and white. All right, it's the next day. It's time to empty my water things. Here's the water tower. First I'm gonna empty the 1,000-liter tank. Feels bad throwing away so much water, but you know, it's gonna be worse if I can't store water anymore because it freezes. But here we go. Let's go empty this thing. Where do I stand so I don't get wet? Alright, so everybody ready? Here we go. Well, this one's emptying out. It's actually going faster than I thought it would. Let's connect the garden hose to the tower over there and empty that out in a different location. Okay, connect the water hose. Roll this out to where I want it to go empty. There we go. I put the water hose over here above the apple tree that we planted this year. It is doing very well. It's doing good. And the land is sloping down like this. So I've got the water emptying there so that the apple tree will benefit from the earth saturating beneath it. Okay, let's start emptying the water tower. Okay, let's get this started. There we go. Let's see if it's working as intended. Water is barely coming out. We have a problem. Why is the water not coming out? Is there a kink somewhere? Seems fine over here. I think it was probably pinched on that thing. Huh. Water is still barely coming out. What is this? Let me check if any of this is clogged. Well, that is feeding water correctly. What's happening here? Is it on this one? No. There it is, got it working. Turns out this thing has a valve. So if this part is not connected, this one will not let water go. So now it is emptying water. So we're just gonna have that lay there and empty out the water tower. Meanwhile, this guy is almost empty. That is perfect. That's 1,000 liters water. That's 1,000 liters of water gone. So now I don't have to worry about that freezing and breaking. I'm gonna leave the tap open during the winter so no water or anything collects in there and freezes anything. One less worry. Now, one thing is nice about this. It does feel like I'm throwing away water, but this is all on my own property, on my own land. So this water is gonna seep into the ground, and within a couple of years, it's gonna start collecting in my water well over there. And it's just gonna go back into my entire system, and it will get filtered by the earth itself, and then I get to use it for drinking water later. So, it's a circular system that I appreciate having. So all the rainwater that I've collected over the last few months will become my drinking water in a good amount of time. This is what's left from our tomato plants. There is still some tomatoes on there, which we are waiting for. This one isn't good anymore. So look at the color is bad. But yeah, we're waiting for some of those tomatoes to start ripening, and then we'll take them. But yeah, they've treated us well. They gave us a nice amount of tomatoes. This one, however, are all flowers. These are flowers that Frida has planted. And these flowers will not stay outside during the winter. So we are taking those inside so they might survive. We do have some trimming to do on this one. Here is the last batch of tomatoes that we plucked from the tomato plants. It's a good amount. As you see, some of them are still green, but tomatoes will ripen off the plant. So if you just pluck them, put them in a bowl together, they will all stimulate each other to still ripen. So that should be good. And this is a nice harvest. This is like the third or fourth bowl of tomatoes we've gotten this year. And this is just, a few tomato plants for starting. And they're very tasty. Very happy with that. This was just our first year testing it out, and it's great. And while the water tower is emptying, I'm also going to empty the overflow bucket and then take it away, because we also don't want ice collecting in there. So the water that is still going to fall before it all starts freezing will just run onto the ground and then flow away. But time to empty this bucket. Okay, I got that thing emptied, and it's upside down so it won't fill with water anymore. Ready for winter. Now, of course, leaf blowing is going to be a reoccurring task from now on, with the trees, especially the two big ones in my front garden, shedding all their leaves. I'm going to have to do this a lot in the coming few weeks, but I want to keep up with it so we don't get a giant plaque of leaves all stuck to my grass, and hoping that if I keep up with it, next year when the nice weather comes, I will have a nice lawn that is beautiful and healthy. I am planning to put the leaves in some places in my land where there is like divots to fill up the land, and maybe it will turn in slowly into soil that will raise up those divots and make it nice and even with the rest of the land. But for now, I just have a lot of work leaf blowing. Alright, as you can tell, that's a lot of leaves gathered already. I'm not going to make it 100% clean because, as you can tell, there's still a lot of leaves that are about to fall. So it's useless to do everything. But at least that pile is done, and that won't start sticking to the grass when it rains again. Next is taking these pillows inside, because we are no longer sitting outside. It is way too cold outside to have breakfast. But yeah, that is the winter preparations for this vlog. There is a lot more stuff to do. There will be more leaves. But yeah, I feel that I am good and ready for snow and ice to come. We've got a nice wood storage. Fingers crossed it's going to be enough and get us through an entire winter. But I hope you all enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you all again on Friday. So don't miss a video, subscribe now, and I'll see you in the next episode.